Hi everyone, I'm Bob. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I work in Japan as a full-time financial management consultant. I make videos about my career, about living abroad, and just my life in general. If you feel like this content would be interesting to you, then hit like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my future content. So in today's video, I want to talk about something that I went through and something that I know a lot of people go through. At the time when I was going through it, I didn't even know it was a thing, but I was going through what's called imposter syndrome. For those of you that may not know, imposter syndrome is when you find yourself in a situation, usually for your career or for maybe your academic career, where you feel like you don't measure up either academically, emotionally, or you feel like you don't have the talent and the skills that it takes to succeed in the environment that you find yourself in. I've actually went through imposter syndrome twice, and in this video I want to share my personal experience of imposter syndrome with you so that maybe you can relate to this, and if you're going through imposter syndrome, you can use the advice that I'm going to give in this video to help you kind of navigate your way out of it. So the first time I went through imposter syndrome, I was in grad school. I found myself in my class with a bunch of people that I felt were very interesting. Like, they all had these very interesting lives. Like, we had a pilot, a clothing designer, a software engineer, and I thought, you know, my background is just not interesting enough to keep up with the conversation and with the, you know, the level of skills and background that these people have. And also, when I came to the program, my undergrad grades were not the best. Like, they were good enough to get me into grad school, but they definitely could have been a lot better. And so I felt like I'm not going to be able to contribute to the conversation. No one's going to ask me any questions about my work or my background. I'm not going to be able to keep up with the assignments or to produce assignments at the level required to complete a grad school program. But it turns out, you know, this was all in my head. This wasn't the reality of my situation. About 6 months into the program, I was doing really well. I was getting good feedback from my professors, and other students in the class actually were asking my opinion on things. They were asking me about my background. They wanted to know what I did, and they wanted to know what I thought, and I was contributing to the conversation in a way that was meaningful, and that sparked a lot of, you know, classroom discussion and debate. And so I realized at that point that all this anxiety that I had, all these feelings of imposter syndrome that I had, were all in my head. They weren't real, and they were just my own insecurities manifesting themselves in this way called imposter syndrome. And just to show you like how powerful of a thing imposter syndrome is, when I started my career in consulting, I actually went through it again. When I started my career in consulting, I had just come out of my military career in the US Air Force. I was put into an office with just me and the client. There was nobody else from my firm in the office with me. I felt for about the first 6 months that I really wasn't making the impact that I needed to make for my client. So fast forward 6 months past my start date, I had my sit down with my project manager and we did my 6-month review, and I was dreading it. I thought he was going to be like, you know, Bob, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong, you need to do more of this. The client's complaining about this. But it was just the opposite. He was like, Bob, you're killing it. You're doing a great job. The client's really happy with your work. And they actually gave me more to do because I had done so well with the first project they'd given me. And I also ended up getting a small performance bonus my first year on the job. So again, that just goes to show that all these things that I was thinking, all these doubts that I had, they weren't the reality. They were all in my head, and they were giving me all this undue stress and anxiety for absolutely no reason. So if you've just started a new academic career, or you've just started a new role at a company and you're feeling these feelings of imposter syndrome, don't let them overwhelm you. Just understand that these are natural feelings, and you're probably doing a lot better than you think you are. You'll know that you have imposter syndrome if you're not able to internalize your successes. So you could be productive in a way that's really making an impact. You could be doing really well in your job, but you're not allowing yourself to believe that you're doing a good job. Another thing that you could be doing, and this is something I'm guilty of, is that you blame yourself for things that aren't your fault, even when no one else is blaming you for that. Another thing you could do is find yourself reluctant to take credit for something. So if somebody says, oh wow, you did a really good job on this project, you may think to yourself, oh well, I only did a good job because it was easy, or they wouldn't have even given me this project if it wasn't something that's easy to do. And that's kind of a BS way of thinking too. Like, you would probably assign the project because your client or your project manager believed in you and they knew you could get it done. So how do you overcome these feelings of imposter syndrome? You have to realize that deep down, everyone is like you. Nowadays, especially with the internet, YouTube, social media, Instagram, all that kind of thing, we have these very idealized versions of people's lives where we think everyone's life is perfect and they never struggle with anything, and that's not true. Everybody struggles. Everyone feels like they don't measure up in one way or another. So understand that this is normal. This is a normal part of life. As you take on new things and challenge yourself, you are going to feel these feelings, but it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. And also another thing that I came to realize, especially when I started working in consulting, is that people want to help you. A company hires you, they invest in you, they want to get a return on that investment. So senior leaders in your organization are encouraged to mentor you, coach you, develop you, and make you a very productive member of the team. When you're first starting out, you're expected to not be perfect and to get a little lost in projects and not know everything right off the top of your head all the time. What you are expected to do is to show enthusiasm, show willingness to learn, show grit, and show that you are willing to do those things it takes to make an impact. So be sure to do those things in your career, your school, whatever event you're doing in life that's giving you those feelings of imposter syndrome, and I'm sure that you'll be just fine. Know that in most cases, these feelings of imposter syndrome are not reality. They're coming from within you, and it's just your own insecurities. It's just your own insecurities making you feel like you're not measuring up when in fact you probably are, or you're even excelling past what people are expecting of you. If you have any questions for me, you can always reach out to me on Instagram or LinkedIn, which I will put in the description box below. That's gonna be it for me and my video today, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.